Okay guys, I am going to show you how to do some paper weaving today. I'm going to have two different sheets of paper. One that's going to be our loom where we do our weaving, and the other we're going to cut into strips almost like you would use for the yarn that you would be weaving back and forth. I'm going to start with the one that's going to become my loom. I'm using some pattern paper just because it has a white side and a pattern side, and I want you to be able to see the different sides of the paper. You could use painted paper. You can use plain construction paper, pretty much anything you want to. All right, I'm going to start with this one, and I want to fold it across this way. You need to make sure that your corners match up. Once you have your corners nice and neat and matched, you hold that down with one hand, and then smooth it down, press and fold until you have a nice crease on your paper. Now, the next step is to take this, and we're going to fold it down about an inch. And if you're not sure how far an inch is, you can take your thumb and hold it up, and it should be from about the tip of your thumb until that joint where your thumb bends. That's about an inch. Now notice I just folded one of my pieces of paper. It's just that one on the top. The sheet in the back I left alone. So just fold down that top sheet about an inch. Now you can see under here we have a creased line, and that is going to be our stop line. We are not going to cut past the stop line. If you cut past the stop line, your loom will fall apart and none of your paper will stay in it. So when we start cutting, we'll never ever go past this line. So the next step is we need to start dividing our piece of paper into different sections for our loom. So we want to try to find about the middle of the page. You don't have to use a ruler, but I'm going to look, and right about there is about the center of my page. So I'm going to use my scissors and start at the fold, right at that middle. I'm going to cut straight up. Slow down. Don't want to go past that stop line. Okay, I made it right to the stop line. And now I have these two sections. They look like a pair of pants. All right, so now we want to keep dividing these. So each one of these we want to divide in half. So we need to find the middle of each of these pieces. So I'm going to look here. I'm keeping my paper folded. I'm starting at this end. That looks like it's about the halfway mark. I'm going to start there, straight up, and stop. All right, so that one's divided in half again. Now we come to the other piece. Look for that middle, right about there. Cut straight up and stop at the stop line. So now it's in 4 different parts. We need to get 8, so we need to divide each of these in half one more time. And once we do that, we'll have 8 parts. So we're going to start at this one, find the middle, cut straight up, and stop at the stop line. Next one, find the middle, cut straight up, and stop at the stop line. Next one, cut straight up, stop at the stop line. Last one, and stop. Okay, so you can see now we have 8 different little strips. They're all still connected at the top because we didn't go past the stop line. Now you can turn your paper and open it up. And you can see how we have those 8 different strips, but they're still all connected on all 4 sides. That's going to be our loom. I'm going to put this out of the way for just a second, and I'm going to get out one more sheet of paper. Now, you can do this 2 different ways. If you want to have longer fringy pieces, then you might want to fold your paper this way to start your strips. For this one, I'm going to fold my paper this way. If I fold it this way, then the pieces of paper that I use for my weaving are going to stop at the edges of what is going to be my loom piece. So I'm going to fold it this way. We call this hot dog style because it looks like a hot dog bun. So make your corners match. Find this little end and press it down and crease it. until you get what looks like a hot dog bun this way. All right, now this time we're going to try to find our middle again, about right there. But instead of having to stop at the stop line, we're just going to go all the way across. All right, so we've got those two sections. And I'm going to divide this next one in half. Go all the way across. I'm going to divide this one in half. Now I'm going to cut each of these in half again. And you could make wider or skinnier pieces, but for this example, I think these will be fine. You're just going to unfold them as you go, and you're going to have some kind of nice long strips. I'm going to bring our loom piece back. When you are weaving, the important thing is you're always going over and under, over and under, over and under. So we're going to start on one corner, and I'm going to go under first. So I'm going under that first one. And when I come here, you can see where these two pieces of paper meet. I'm going to go under that one. All right, so it's under here, so I'm going to pick this guy up. Kind of spread those apart. Come here. There it goes. Pull it out. All right, so I'm going over this one, and then I'm going to go under the next one. Over that one, and under that one, until I get to the end. And push it down to the end piece. So I'm going to take my next one. And it's really important that you do the opposite of what you did here. So here we went under and then over, and under and then over, and under and over. So we want to do the opposite here, because otherwise all your pieces of paper will just slide out when you get done. So I'm going to start and go over this piece and under this one. And it's going to start to look kind of like a checkerboard. So I'm going to go over and under and over and under, over and under. And when you get to the end, just slide it down right next to the other one. That helps them stay in place better too. So you're starting to get this kind of neat checkerboard pattern. I'm going to go ahead and do one more so you can just see what happens. All right, so this one we went over, so the next one we go under, because we're going to always do the opposite of whatever we just did. Over, under, over, under, over, under, and over. I'm going to slide that one down, and you're going to keep going all the way across until you finish, which will be right here. And when you get done with all of them, if you want to, you can add just a little bit of glue. Look under your ends right here, and each place where you have an ending, just put a little bit of glue, and that'll help them stay in place after you're finished. And then if you have any little uneven pieces that you don't like, you can trim them off. Now if you cut your strips the opposite way, like I cut these some longer ones, then you might have some kind of longer fringy pieces, and that's okay too. You can either leave them long and fringy if you like the way that looks, or you can cut them off shorter to make them even with this paper. But I would say maybe put a few dots of glue when you finish, because that just helps everything stay in place. And that is how you weave with paper. Thanks.